Please don't.
Please don't be mad.
I don't know whose it is.
My name is Adrian Wolfe. If you'd asked me a year ago what the foundation of my marriage was, I would have said trust. Not passion, not perfection, just trust. The quiet kind that doesn't need checking in or reassurance. For 6 years, I believed in giving my wife, Hannah, room to be herself. I never wanted to be that insecure husband monitoring her every step. She always came home to me smiling, tired, sometimes dropping her heels dramatically on the floor. I loved all of it, but trust isn't a one-way bridge, and I learned that far too late. It all started with her company's annual retreat a weekend at a mountainside lodge known more for its bar than its meetings. Hannah had been excited for weeks. She packed dresses she hadn't worn since we were dating and tried on heels with a sparkle in her eyes I hadn't seen in a while. I joked, trying to impress the new project manager. She just smirked and said, "Don't be ridiculous. You know you're my safe place." Safe place? It's funny how that word later felt like an insult. The first night she was gone, she sent pictures, selfies by the fire pit, group photos with coworkers, shots of the moonlit lake. The second night, silence. No calls. No photos, no good night. I told myself she was tired, or maybe the signal was bad. But deep down, something tightened, that quiet, instinctive knot that whispers, "Notice this?" At 3:11 a.m., our front door swung open. Hannah stumbled in, her hair wild, her dress wrinkled, and the strong smell of liquor filling the air. Her eyes were unfocused. She giggled once and almost dropped her phone. I stood up from the couch. "Hannah," I said, "are you okay?" She blinked strangely, then whispered, "Please, don't be mad, don't be mad." 3 words that hit harder than any confession. I helped her to bed. She collapsed, mumbling nonsense about too much tequila, the wrong room, and just one mistake. I didn't press her. I just watched her breathe, her wedding ring tilted loosely on her finger, and felt a stillness I'd never known, not peace. It was the storm before it knew how to roar. The next morning, sunlight filled the room. Hannah woke up pale and trembling. Her eyes met mine, and for a split second, guilt flashed so vividly across her face that I didn't need her to say a word. She didn't even remember everything yet. But her body did. "Rough night?" I asked quietly. She swallowed hard. Yeah, too much wine." I shook my head. "Wine doesn't smell like tequila." Her breath hitched. And that was the moment her world and our marriage began unraveling. The entire day felt like we were acting in an unfinished play, with missing lines and scenes out of order. Hannah showered twice. She barely spoke. She avoided my eyes like they were burning her. I didn't interrogate her. I let the truth claw its way out naturally. By evening, she finally broke. "Adrian," she whispered, her voice shaking, "I did something terrible. I didn't even look surprised. How terrible." Tears brimmed immediately, the guilty kind that don't clean anything, only reveal what's already broken. I was drunk after the bonfire. I wasn't thinking. "I didn't mean to." I cut her off gently. "You cheated," she nodded, collapsing into her hands. "It was one night. I barely remember. Please don't leave me." And there it was. The act, the guilt, the begging. But none of it hit me like I imagined. No screaming, no explosions. Just a cold, empty distance rising between us like a tide. I slept on the couch that night. I could hear Hannah crying softly in the bedroom, but I didn't go to her. Because heartbreak doesn't always look like anger sometimes. It just looks like exhaustion. The next morning, she wanted to talk again. "I want to fix this," she said, her voice raw. "Then tell me the whole truth," I replied. "No half versions." She hesitated, then the truth spilled out in jagged pieces. His name was Trevor. He worked in her department. They drank too much. He kissed her first. She didn't stop him. They went to his room. She only remembered flashes enough to confirm everything she wanted to forget. When she finished, she whispered, "I'm so scared you'll stop loving me." I stared at her, quiet as stone. "That's not what you should be scared of," I said. "You should be scared that I still love you, but no longer trust you." That sentence hit her harder than any blame ever could. Later that day, something happened that sealed everything. Her phone buzzed on the counter, a message from him. From Trevor, it read, "Please don't tell anyone." We both could lose everything. In that moment, I realized the cheating wasn't even the biggest betrayal. The biggest betrayal was how comfortable he felt texting her, how close they must have become before that night. I wasn't just dealing with a drunken mistake. I was dealing with a connection she'd hidden from me. Something inside me finally snapped. Not loudly, just cleanly. That night I packed a small bag. "I need time," I said. "Alone." She collapsed into tears as I walked out. For the first time in 6 years, the door closing behind me felt like oxygen. I stayed at my friend Noah's apartment for several days. Just quiet air and a couch that smelled like old cologne. Silence can be healing when the world has been too loud. On day 5, Hannah emailed me. She wasn't begging or making excuses. She was confessing about loneliness, insecurities, and a guilt that was consuming her. She said she wasn't asking for forgiveness, only for a chance to become someone who deserved it someday. I closed the laptop and didn't reply. A week later, I went back home not for reconciliation, but to get the rest of my things. When I opened the door, Hannah was standing there, exhausted, her eyes red from crying. "Adrian," she whispered, "you're back." I just said, "For my stuff." She shook her head, trembling. "That's not why you're here." Then she lifted her phone. On the screen was an ultrasound. "Barely 2 weeks old. I just found out," she said. I don't know whose it is." The room went so silent I could hear my own heartbeat. She stared at me, frozen in terror, because sometimes the consequences of betrayal come in forms no one can outrun. I looked at her for a long moment, then said quietly, "You said that night didn't mean anything." Now we both know it meant everything. Her knees buckled. She sobbed like the world was ending. But I didn't move toward her. Not this time. I picked up my bag, walked to the door, and paused. "Some things break once," I said. "Some things break forever. I hope you learn the difference." Then I walked out. Her sobs followed me down the hall, but I never turned back. Because sometimes closure isn't dramatic. It's the quiet acceptance that love died long before the truth arrived. That night, for the first time in years, I slept peacefully. Not because I won, not because she lost, but because I was finally free from a life built on a lie I didn't even know I was living. Thanks for listening to my story. If you've ever felt betrayed, remember that you're not alone. Seeking help from friends, family, or a professional can make all the difference. Sometimes, the hardest goodbyes lead to the most peaceful beginnings. Take care of yourselves and don't forget to subscribe for more stories.